Ready? Hang on. Oh, I'm not ready now.
Shh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Snooze Button. It's been a couple weeks, or maybe just 1 week. I don't know. My name is Keith J. Carberry, here, as always, with Kylie T. Churchill. We're going to talk for an hour and then play video games for an hour. And then the show's over, and you can all go about your day.
Keith, I know you might be thinking after that, boy, how could I have gotten that intro so wrong? But I think you fucked something up.
What?
I think you might have got my name wrong.
I definitely said Kylie.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I think I did. Hey, if I'm wrong, then I apologize. But I don't think that.
No, you're not. You're not wrong. Oh, I forgot.
Oh, wait, is it that you're changing to Kylie Thomas?
Yeah, I'm Kylie Thomas now. I was great news. I was adopted by Dave Thomas.
Yep.
So now I am the other heiress to the Wendy's fortune.
I saw your tweets explaining your dissatisfaction as a child with the name Churchill because it was weird, and then your satisfaction with it because people liked Winston Churchill, and it's sort of a unique name. And then your further dissatisfaction when being like, oh, Winston Churchill was a psychopath.
Yeah, Winston Churchill sucked real bad.
Yeah, one of the worst kinds of people of all time. And so you wanted to change you wanted to have like Thomas as kind of a stage name or something. And then you said, it's just the name of a.
Whoa. And I'm sorry to just derail you like that, but I guess that is what happens when you try to tell other people's life stories.
Okay,
Keith.
I'm sorry. We're not at the important part yet, but you correct me on what I got wrong here.
The part where you're right, I said that when I was a kid, I once had a thought like, oh, maybe if I became an actor one day, I would drop Churchill and just go by Kyle Thomas,
right.
Thomas being my middle name, as like a
stage name.
Because I was just saying this was before the deciding I liked Churchill and then deciding I didn't like it again part. This was back This was back when I didn't like it because it was like I assumed just because it was like an uncommon name and it sounded dorky to me. I mean, it had the word church in it.
Yeah, and this is before you liked Pet Sematary.
Yeah, this is way before I liked Pet Sematary.
Yeah. So drop the Churchill, use Thomas as a last name. But then you said something about like, but I would just be trading the name of one piece of shit for another. I can't remember the exact way that you framed it.
No. I think it sounds like you missed a key part of this.
Okay.
Tweet thread.
Yeah.
Was the part is on Twitter. My display name has been Kylie Theodora for a while.
Right.
I changed my middle name from Thomas to Theodora because I wanted my middle initial to stay a T.
Right, because it's on it's in your Twitter.
Because I mean, it's also my middle initial. I don't know.
More important though, it's in your Twitter.
It is, I mean, at the time, my Twitter was Kyle T. Churchill, so that was going to change anyway.
Yeah.
But it is true that Kylie Churchill was taken and Kylie T. Churchill was not.
Right.
The other thing being, I really wanted to change my name to middle name to Freya, but then my initials would have been KFC, so that was right out the window. Anyways.
Kitchen fried chicken.
Yeah, my display name on Twitter's been Kylie Theodora for a while, partially just because I don't like the name Churchill that much. Only reminds me and other people of Winston Churchill, and he sucks. But also just because I don't want people to be able to Google me easily, which was a thing I used to want them to be able to do. That's why I went by my first and last name on the internet.
Right.
Now my outlook on that has changed slightly. So I changed my Twitter from at Kylie T Churchill to at Kylie Theodora,
Oh, I
and
didn't
I'm
even
planning
notice
on
that you had
keeping
done
it like
that.
that. Yeah, and so basically what I'm thinking is I'm thinking that I'm just gonna go by Kylie Theodora now as like a stage name, and I'll keep Churchill as my legal last name. Um, both because it gives me anonymity to go by a different name online than what I go by offline, and also because my daughter's last name is Churchill, and I'm the only person in her immediate family that shares her last name, so I wouldn't want to just go changing it before she was even old enough to have an opinion on it.
Right. That makes sense. So
So,
who's
so
the
that's
piece
what
of
I.
shit that you
So
that
that's real quick, real quick. That was what I meant when I said you got something wrong in my name. Is you called me Kylie Churchill instead of Kylie Theodora.
Oh, okay.
I was just ribbing.
Oh, okay. I got you. I didn't notice that happened, so you're right then.
Yeah. Oh, and the part about me saying trading one imperialist for another is that Theodora is Byzantine empress. Uh, but
Oh, okay.
but you know she's more interesting.
Well, there's
For
also,
well, yeah, like the
less
thing.
famous. Also, there's more people named Theodora.
The right. The thing specifically about Theodora the Empress that makes her interesting is one, um, she basically started out as like a dancer slash prostitute, and then eventually became Empress, so that's pretty cool.
Mm.
And she was even in charge of the empire for a while when her husband Justinian was laid low by the plague of his own name. Um,
Have
but
you considered though
basically,
that
it's like,
Winston Churchill was rude to women at parties?
yeah. So the thing about Theodora is like she probably wasn't great, like a great person. But the thing is, we just don't know because the fact of the matter is, all historians and writers throughout history have only been interested in using Theodora as a political prop, like as a proxy for how either they felt about women or how they felt about uh her husband Emperor Justinian and all this stuff. So it's basic, it's like her whole life story is like a gigantic hatchet job, you know.
Mm.
So that's her deal.
But got to be Empress, so
Did get to yeah, oh yeah, got to be Empress.
yeah, which is it's good
You
work
know,
if you can get it.
yeah, for real. No, it's funny. Like there's this famous sort of story from Byzantine history during this event called the Nika Revolution, or sorry, the Nika Revolt, which is really interesting, but is too weird and long to get into. But basically, there's this scene that was recorded by the historian Procopius where the Emperor Justinian is basically cowering, away from all these peasants that want to cut his head off or whatever, and saying like, "Well, I guess it's time to flee the capital." And then there's this big long diatribe where Theodora, you know, with all this bluster, makes a big speech about the regality of nobility and we're never gonna give up the purple and blah 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 and have some balls, you
Sorry,
stupid
the
baby.
purple?
The purple, emperors wear purple.
Got it.
The emperor's new purple. Um, and so people now will like read this moment and be like, yeah, Theodora is such a badass. Look at her go. Her husband was a bee or something. But I've heard this like put in greater historical context where it's like, no. This whole moment was just about this was just about intentionally painting Justinian in a bad light. Like to have him cowering and to have his wife show strength was just meant to be a total condemnation of his character. Is nothing about Theodora actually. Like everyone in
Right.
modern times reads this moment incorrectly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's sort of like how Roosevelt's wife didn't actually save all those paintings from the burning White House. It's not Roosevelt. Who was it? Am I right? It was just that he didn't. All those paintings are actually gone. This is my new conspiracy theory. Who saved paintings from a burning White House?
Well, I mean, I've only heard of the White House being burned during the War of 1812.
Yeah, that's why I immediately said not Roosevelt.
Yeah, not Roosevelt.
That's wrong.
on that
That's
one.
wrong by 100 years. Whichever one it was, whichever stupid president it was,
It was
they didn't
probably the
save any
other-
paintings, and they're all
I
gone.
think it was probably the other Roosevelt.
Anybody who thinks any of those paintings still exist is a rube. You're being tricked by Mitch McConnell.
Oh, you're definitely getting tricked by Mitch McConnell.
Okay, let's talk about S-Boss.
Ooh,
Let's talk about S-Boss.
S-Boss.
Really, let's talk about Halo.
Whoa.
Did you ever watch the Halo thing?
Hey, babe. No.
Why?
No, I didn't. Because
you had a lot of time to.
Sure did. Yeah. Oh, I've got plenty of time these days for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And then
Mostly not functioning.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you do instead?
That's how it's going. I worked on a model.
Gosh, it really seems like you could have done both of those at the same time.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
It does. I'm thinking about what it takes to paint a model, and it seems
it's not.
multitaskable.
Please understand, literally 90% of my model making time these days is me just sitting in front of a model and thinking, I should do some work on this pretty soon. The quarantine executive dysfunction is real as hell. I cannot stress this enough. But I am moving next month, and I'm gonna be living with some people that I think I will be more interested in interacting with. So hopefully, I will have
another
more
reason
life
to not watch
me.
a YouTube video about.
Yeah, another
Halo.
reason to not watch a
Well,
Halo.
Your landlord never called me, or your prospective landlord never called me.
Yeah, I think I'm not moving in for a month, so I think they just don't give a shit about getting to it real fast. I think they've already decided that I think I already got the place and they just don't care. And
Okay.
that's
that's
why.
common. That's a thing.
Yeah.
It's James Madison. He stole the
Madison.
paintings. Thank you.
Stole the painting.
Yeah, that's what happened. The paintings were outside the White House safe. And James Madison took them all into the burning White House, let them burn. And his wife, Molly,
Wow.
I'm guessing.
What a prick.
Was it James Madison? That seems early. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares?
I
don't care about any of these people. Here's
remember
the thing.
when you know that famous letter where John Adams' wife, whose name I don't remember because women in history aren't important, Abigail. She wrote to him, "Oh, please remember the women. When you're writing this Constitution, think about their interests." And he said, "I can't but laugh, for I have stolen all of the paintings that were thought to be destroyed in that fire."
The only famous letters I know are A through Z. Sorry, I didn't know that you were doing a joke, or I wouldn't have had that joke queued up for that whole time. Anyway, so I watched the thing. I watched the Xbox thing for the whole thing.
Keith,
Yeah,
buddy,
yeah.
why didn't you say so?
I did.
I thought we were hung out to dry on this whole Xbox podcast.
No, I was
thing.
not relying on you. I wouldn't. If I also hadn't, I wouldn't have been so hard on you not watching it. Oh, you didn't watch it, you fucking idiot piece of shit. You had all week, and I needed you to have watched it because I also didn't.
Here's the thing, Keith. This came up earlier and didn't come up again until just now. You keep clipping when you get loud.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe I have my levels weird. Oh, I do have my levels weird.
Also in the chat, my audio settings are also new. So please in the chat,
Hello.
comment if our volumes are
Hello?
good. And when I say good, I don't mean can you hear both of us? I mean like are we the
Bop, bop, bop.
same volume? Because if we're
Well,
not, we can fix it.
it's weird that I'm clipping because I turned myself way down to match where you have been. My levels were a little bit off from where they usually are because I was recording some guitar and I had them. I had turned it
That's
all
so
the way.
weird that you were recording guitar because I tend to think of you more as a drummer.
Well, I have the heart of a drummer, but I have the
Right.
hands and brain of a guitarist.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's why you don't drum.
I can drum. I know how to play the drums a little bit.
I didn't say you couldn't.
Right. Well, I said I don't, which is true.
Right, which is true.
But I only don't because I don't have anything to drum on. That's the problem.
No, it's just funny. Keith is referencing. He tweeted recently that that he's always thought of himself as a drummer, but drums are expensive. He just doesn't have any. But oh boy, once he gets that free, shitty drum kit from someone who doesn't need it, it's all over. It's
all
gonna
over.
it's gonna be drum until the cows come home.
It's gonna be Drum City.
It is gonna be Drum City in there. That's true. It's gonna be, I don't know.
Drum City.
It's gonna be Drumstick.
It's gonna be Drumstick City.
And I had the audacity, to read this message that said, "I've always had the heart of a drummer," and to think you were joking.
No.
And so I responded with just simply, "I've never thought of you that way."
I mean,
But I love your...
I was. It's true that I have always felt like I would be good at the drums, and that I have the sort of attitude of a guy who plays the drums more than a guy who plays the guitar. But
Really?
saying on Twitter, "I have the heart of a drummer," is a joke in that it's a funny
I
thing
know.
to say.
I know.
But the content of it is true.
I just do like the exchange between us going like, "I've always felt like I had the heart of a drummer. I've never felt that way about you." Why?
Why?
Well, I guess it's probably because you've been a musician your whole life and you've never played drums.
Yeah.
If I had to take one guess at why I don't think of you as a drummer, it's probably because you're always playing instruments that aren't drums.
Yeah, it's true. But when there are drums around, game
I've never
over.
Seen it.
Well,
I've
when
never
I
seen it.
lived in Milton with a group of friends, the famous friends that got us evicted because they wouldn't
Yep.
stop putting a hammock up in the backyard, and also the guy who was in charge of paying the rent had all the rent money on time every month,
And?
but wouldn't give it on time every month.
Ah,
And they were all excellent musicians, better than me. I was the worst musician living in the house.
that checks out. That makes sense.
That doesn't make sense. Fuck you.
No, sorry. I don't. No. I don't mean you like you're bad. I meant like those two things you just put together. Like I was the only financially responsible one. They were all better musicians than me.
No. Our friend Zach, who I believe
he was the only one. Yeah.
he was the one. He was in charge of paying the rent, so we were giving him our shares of the rent, and he was the go-between with the landlord to give the money to the landlord, and he
Yeah.
wasn't doing that on time. And that plus the hammock issue got
the
us
hammock
thrown
issue.
out.
That being, don't put a hammock up in the backyard. Don't tie a hammock between two trees in the backyard. But they kept doing it.
Which, if it's that big of a problem, maybe don't fucking put the hammock up. But also, who gives a shit? It's a fucking hammock. We rent this house.
Keith,
Wow.
it's a point of stress between the two trunks. You put
It's
weight,
designed. It's a tree bed.
Listen, you put weight on the trunks at those two areas for long enough, over several decades, the trees start to list.
You could tear the entire earth in two with this.
The whole eastern seaboard's gonna be dropping off into the Atlantic pretty soon if we don't take down this hammock.
So they were all very good musicians. And they all also worked at
fun. I
Guitar
liked those
Center.
guys.
Did you?
What happened? Yeah.
You never went to that house?
No, I just meant like your friends from high school, like Zach and Nate.
Oh, well, when Zach got us all kicked out of our house, I
Yep.
kind of stopped talking to him.
I noticed that.
Yeah. And they all kept living together. So they like
Oh,
moved to a house
wait,
in
like
Brighton.
still?
Well, I saw I've seen them like I saw them once like 3 or 4
Yeah.
years ago, and they were living in like a weird mansion in Brighton.
Huh.
That was being basically it was 5 people living in a 4-bedroom house, and one person was living in the dining room as their bedroom. And so they moved into like
You're not
8
describing mansion
people.
living.
Well, no, that was where we were living. Then
Oh,
there was like a 9-bedroom house with 9 people living in it in Brighton. That was
yes.
like $3,000 a month or something. But you know, $3,000 a month split between. But I was just like, they offered me a spot there, and I was like, I don't want to live with 8 other people. I barely wanted to
No.
live with the 4 of you.
Yeah.
Um, but they all worked at Guitar Center, and they'd spent all of their money on extremely discounted Guitar Center stuff. So they just had a
Ah.
room full of music. And Zach is like an extremely talented drummer. So I would drum on his drums when we would jam
Oh, I see.
sometimes, and I would make him give me 10-minute drum lessons. Um, and I look, I'm not here to brag, but I've been called a natural on the drums.
Listen, Keith. Uh, there was one time, I was in Mark Goodwin's basement. I sat down in his drum kit, and I started playing maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs from my knowledge in Rock Band, and he knew what song I was playing. So I'm pretty sure I'm a
Yeah.
drummer too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's another good point. Yeah, I played, hours and hours of Rock Band drums. That's real. That's real drumming, pretty much. It's like
I
it's
uh
really
I
close.
I was just doing it yesterday. I just the kids have been getting into Rock Band, which all my Rock Band instruments lived at their house, but the drum set, like, I think it got like battery corrosion on it and stopped working, but I bought a new set and I was playing it yesterday and it's
Nice.
fun. It's fun, but it's hard.
They need to do a like the Ubisoft Rocksmith thing, but with
But with
drums.
drums, yeah.
I don't know
And
how that
and
would work. Electric
it
drums.
kind of, but you know what, Keith?
Yeah.
I kind of, in some ways, I have a new favorite drumming rhythm game. I mean, it's not like the Rock Band drumming. That's pretty much as close to real drumming as you could get in like a video game. But Beat Saber, kind of like a drumming game. Feels like one sometimes.
And it looks sick as hell.
Dude,
I never played.
I know. You we got to fix this.
Okay. So
Yeah,
here,
so Lucas has been bugging me about had been bugging me about bringing the PSVR over for him to play, which I do like every like 6 months or so. Um and I hadn't even touched it since the last time I brought it over, but I brought it over to their house, and so I've been playing it every time I go to Nick's house for the past few days, and just like, fuck, man, Beat Saber though.
yeah.
Damn.
Although on the other hand, not to diss Beat Saber, obviously, but how fucking hilarious is it, and also how totally foreseeable that VR is not a thing still.
Well, I mean,
It's gone.
honestly,
It's gone. No, it's gone.
I know you're right. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like Sony, like PSVR was a huge hit. They made a ton of money off of that. They sold all the PSVRs they made. Like, those didn't go on deep discount. Like, they were pretty much sold at cost, and people bought them. And they haven't said PSVR like since they launched it.
Hmm.
Like, they haven't even said the letters V and R next to each other in all of their talks about the PS5. I don't think.
And they really fucking Molyneuxed it up too. I mean, for 2 years, all we heard was that virtual reality is changing the way we look at games. And they said
Listen.
that for 2 years. They sold a bunch of people a what, $400 thing?
250?
$250? Okay, well they sold a bunch of more expensive ones to other people too.
Yeah.
Not Sony, but other people. And then just dead, just gone. There
But
were
here's the
VR
thing
games
though,
on
like
people's Game of the Year list
it
2
was
years
just,
ago.
I mean, I don't think you can. I don't think you can necessarily. I mean, you can lay the blame at the foot of the companies in that capitalistic way, where it's like, well, they were just doing a capitalism by abandoning VR because it hasn't been fruitful or whatever. But like, that still sucks. Um,
Yeah.
but I
But I think it's more than that.
it's
They
so
had a
weird.
platform.
It's so weird because on the one hand, it had legit been like a year since I had used my PSVR
Uh-huh.
for anything other than porn. um, for any games, it had been like a year since I'd played any PSVR games. Uh, but and I know I'm not the only one. Like people who bought VR headsets are largely like, we're not using these things, we're not playing these things, but it's also because nobody's making any games.
Yeah.
No new like
Yeah.
literally no new VR games have come out besides like Half-Life Alyx. Like that's
Right, but
basically it on PSVR, I should say. And Half-Life Alyx didn't even come out on PSVR.
but
But when I play it, it's amazing. It's still amazing. Like I cannot stress enough that that Beat Saber is like a transcendent video game experience. Like it's all I'm thinking about right now. Like I can't take the VR back because I hadn't used it in a year, so it wouldn't be fair because they asked for it. But like all I want to do is take my VR back from them so I can play Beat Saber all day.
But like, sticking on Sony, because that's kind of who we were talking about specifically, like they have the ability to make a developer make VR games for them.
Oh yeah,
They
can
can
just
they
do it.
can just do that. So it's not like, oh, no one's having the creative vision, or no one's getting the financial, like no one with the resources. Is it like Sony has the resources to provide to people to make them a VR game, and they just aren't doing it. And I
Yeah,
think part of it
I
is just
mean,
because, like, as much as you like, and maybe this would be different in a world where VR games were everywhere, but I think everyone kind of realized all at once, like, oh, getting the VR thing out is a headache. It sucks to,
it's
like do.
it's such a weird thing because I agree. That's also how I feel when my VR headset is sitting 3 feet away from me. But on the other
Or when
hand,
it's 10 miles away, all you
no,
can
no.
think
On the
about is
other hand,
wanting it.
like on the rare occasion when I do walk the 3 feet and pick up the thing and turn it on, I never come away from it going, "Yeah, this was a hassle." I always say, "This was so." Why do I always think this is a hassle? It's not.
I don't
But
know.
for some reason, I treat it that way in my brain.
Yeah, because people are extremely lazy. It's not bad that people are
true.
lazy like that, but it's like
Uh,
all you want to do is sit down and play video games, like because you spent all day like working or whatever, and it's like
yeah.
I just want to sit on the couch.
Yeah, VR is a little bit of a to do. And again, I must stress part of me not playing my VR is that there have not been any new VR games for me to play that have been released
Yeah.
since I purchased it.
Yeah.
So all of my, I only have a back catalog to work through essentially. And the VR games that have been made, not many of them are the deepest experiences. And some of that is a fundamental limitation of VR as a gaming technology. But I think a huge part of it is just an underdevelopment of the space.
Yeah. Well, after that quick detour into something totally not relevant, let's talk about
wait.
Halo.
Wait, no, I had I thought I had more. I thought I had one more VR thing
Okay.
to say.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to real quick explain what Beat Saber was in case anyone hadn't heard of it. It's just it's like a rhythm game where note blocks fly at you, and you have two move controllers in your hands, and they're both lightsabers, and the blocks have arrows that say what direction you have to slice the blocks in time to the music, and it's the sickest shit ever. It's just the best thing. It's as cool as it sounds. You have to go try it. It's incredible.
And before we get off of it, I do want to say I've tried VR that has been sick. I talked a few years ago on our Game of the Year podcast about my experience just in like like the Vive headset lobby where you're just in a blank room,
Mm-hmm.
and like you can pull up a gigantic, like, it's fake, so it's weird to say this, but it's like a 200-inch TV, like in terms of its perspective, and it pops out as like,
Inside the
this
game,
is
yeah.
your 200-inch monitor that has
Mm-hmm.
Steam on it.
Yeah.
uh and just like, it was extremely cool just to be in the VR version of like a room.
Yeah.
Way cooler than I think anybody gave it credit for. I never heard anybody
Yeah.
talking about that space. Like, all the VR people who are
Oh,
excited
that.
about VR, I never heard anybody talk about like the VR, like the vibe of the Vive VR room.
Oh, I see.
And like, just like the idea of like, you know, I have a small little office. What if instead of
Mm.
having two monitors, I could put on a Vive and have like a gigantic fucking virtual screen, and then like another like gigantic virtual screen.
Yeah.
And I just had
It.
like a desk and a keyboard that were modeled in VR space, and I could have this
Mhm.
gigantic, like, size scalable monitor.
Yeah.
That was, I think, that was better. That thought was better than anything VR ever let me play. But it still never happened because
Yeah.
nobody
And
bought them. And
well, I think also the limitation of that idea right now is that I mean my experience is only with the PSVR and like pre-release Oculus dev kit that was even worse about this, but the resolution right now is just so low that you still get that screen door effect where it, like, yeah, it's like that 200-inch screen does look huge, but it doesn't actually look higher quality in the way that a real life 200-inch monitor would unless you dramatically increase the resolution of the headset, which
yeah,
I assume, would happen eventually.
well, it looked
Um,
really good. I mean, it didn't.
yeah, like I just basically what I want to stress is like I complain that no one's making any more of these games and they're not talking about it anymore. I will say that I think part of the reason that Sony might not be talking about it could be that they think correctly that it's too big to try to push a continuation of PSVR or a sequel to PSVR at the same time that they're trying to come out with a new console, and maybe PSVR 2 or just, hey, we're making PSVR games again and we made a better headset and the old one still works is
Yeah.
something they roll out like a year or two into the PS5.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I want to stress, like, even though I say I never use it and it's a bummer that it seems abandoned, like, these are still some of the most interesting and novel experiences that you can have in games, and some experiences that you fundamentally can't have any other way. Like, I don't feel like I feel like I got my $250 worth out of the PSVR easily.
That's good.
Yeah, just that feeling of being able to like just literally feel like you've been transported to a different space is like so cool. Like, some of the most interesting games on PSVR are the ones that take those limitations and really play with them. Like Beat Saber, it's like you have to stand in place and things just fly at you like it's Fruit Ninja, but they find a way to turn Fruit Ninja into the coolest shit on earth. And like there's Headmaster, which is a game that's only about hitting soccer balls with your head, but they use comedy to like completely narrativize it into like you're in a prison for people who can't head soccer balls well, and it's like hilarious. And then it puts you in these big empty soccer pitches that are like at night, and it's so cool. Even though they're basically just trying to cover up that it's like a shooting gallery for your head.
Speaking of platforms that people are worried may not be worth the price of admission, let's talk about
Mm.
the Xbox.
What? I've only been hearing good things, Keith J. Carberry.
Wow, you must have your head in a pile of sand, a loosely
Wait,
packed
really?
pile of sand. Yeah.
No, really?
Yeah.
I've
People are
only been hearing
furious
people.
about Halo.
Oh, okay. I didn't know this. Should I
Um,
go live watch a Halo trailer right now? Like, is it 2
no,
minutes?
it's not
going
going to help you. No, watching a trailer is not going to. I mean, if you wanted to go and put on mute, just like, and look at the way that this game looks, that
Sure.
might be worth it.
Okay.
But just for the how about while
Could
you
we take?
do that?
Sorry. Could I get 120 seconds pause? Could we just pause for 2 minutes?
Maybe I'll vamp, or we can pause.
Yeah, vamp.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Thanks.
So, just for some backstory, and Kylie can continue to listen to this while she watches the trailer on mute. And so she can have this backstory also. The other day, Microsoft had their sort of E3 didn't happen event, the first of maybe a couple, it sounds like, because things were not ready for this because of the virus, apparently. Or not apparently, and also obviously. And one of the big things that they showed, they spent almost half of the runtime of their event showing Halo. And people saw the trailer and kind of all decided at once to varying degrees that it doesn't look very good.
I know where this is going. Okay, got it. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so is it that everyone thinks this game looks bad and you think it looks awesome?
Well, I don't even need to say that it looks awesome to talk about this. I do think it looks good. I think it looks good. At least good.
I have the 8.5-minute gameplay trailer running unmuted right now.
Okay.
I'm watching a man with Master Chief and they're gonna crash on a Halo.
You could fast forward to the gameplay if you want.
So fuck me up, fam. Is this a Halo reboot?
Kind of. It's a Halo reboot. Yeah. I don't think it's a story. It is a Halo 1 vibes reboot, I think.
Right.
I think it's you're crash landing on Halo and you're exploring big open space levels.
Right.
And it's Halo. It's like
These
a
are
Halo
the things
1.
I've heard. I saw the teaser image that was like a recreation of the Halo 1 box art and with the new game.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah. So I think it looks good and fun. I don't think we've seen enough of it to like. Here's the thing. I don't even feel like we've seen enough of this game to say almost anything concrete about it.
Keith, I am looking. These two beautiful baby blues are glued right to the prettiest goddamn Master Chief I've ever seen, and that's all I need to know.
So as a Halo knower, definitively this looks way better than any Halo that exists, right?
Oh God.
Okay, so I'm seeing obviously the people online, rando, rage
I know
nerds.
I know how Halo
will exaggerate until the cows come home, but I've seen people saying that this looks like an original Xbox game. Just unbelievable bullshit.
You said that just as Master Chief stepped out of the thing and looked around and like, yeah, it's just silly. Like again, we've it's almost stupid to even say this because we've harped on it so many times. People are probably bored of us yelling about it. But the thing has always been about Halo is that it had a visual style that played very well to the strengths of the original Xbox, and then they kept that visual style still. And just even though these games all look incredible for their time, there's never been a Halo game that's come out that has had like graphics that weren't like good for their era or great for their era.
Right.
But every time people say it just looks exactly the same, but it's only just because the visual style is so consistent.
Because it's a fucking sequel.
Jesus Christ.
And it's true that like because they do such a good job, it looks so good, right?
They just pulled up the map, and I'm like,
yeah.
Look at this shit. I mean, so I haven't. I just started watching this.
Right.
But I'll say right off the bat, this game that they're showing me is literally the thing I asked for. I literally said, what I want is take the second level of the original Halo and make it an open world game. And then like, that's what they've done, essentially.
Yep. That seems to be what this is. There seems to be some sort of open world style plot. Like, that's a sort of plot that might be like the narrative pieces of what might be an open world RPG, but obviously this is just a Halo shooter.
Baby. Brutes are back.
One of those brutes has a cool gun that they pick up. There's a bit in a sec that you will notice. Let's see if she notices.
Oh,
Well, I'll keep talking.
Okay, yes, he did pick up that cool gun.
Um,
There's a pistol here.
you didn't
It
notice
looks like
the
a Halo 2 pistol.
Well, maybe it hasn't happened yet. I only watched this thing twice, so
there was a cool like arc shield, like not a bubble shield, but like an arc shield. God, this looks so good.
yeah. So
he just went up the elevator. And
So I want to be clear. There's two different kinds of people that are not liking this. The first kind of person is Halo fans who hate every Halo that comes out until they play it and then they love it.
It's true.
So like I made a tweet about this and someone who does Halo videos on YouTube retweeted it. So I had a lot of Halo people in my mentions, and it's like these are Halo fans who are mad at me for liking Halo.
Yeah, you don't realize that you shouldn't be into this.
Yeah.
This isn't what we wanted.
Yeah. Someone said that it looked unbelievably rough is how they described the way that this looked.
What?
Yeah. It's just insane. It's just insane.
Nothing about this looks rough. If anything, you could argue it looks too polished. Like it almost looks like you wouldn't believe that it's the final game.
Yeah. Well,
it looks slightly scripted.
So
I mean, not really, but I'm just saying it looks closer to that than
closer
than saying it looks unbelievably rough.
And I understand the reflex to look at this harshly, because this is the game that's asking you to spend whatever amount of money the Xbox Series X is. We still don't know
sure.
on a new console, and people are looking at this and asking themselves, does this look next gen? And there's a second group of people that are talking about this game.
And it does, by the way.
It does, by the way. There's a second group of people talking about this game, and they're the video game knowers, whether they're people who follow video game news or they're the people who report video game news. And the things that they're saying about this game is maybe this was slightly underwhelming visually. And the reason that they think that is because they're dummy dumbs. The
faces don't look bad. I will say they're close up on a pretty bad face just now. Like the faces look kind of bad.
Yeah, whatever. They've always looked bad.
That is literally Halo's thing, is that the games always look incredible, but the human faces look bad. And I'm not gonna get hung up on it now. Look at this fucking thing. My god. We're definitely gonna.
Is it the Brute?
Sorry, real quick. We're definitely gonna overlay this on the YouTube.
Is it the Brute?
The Brute looks bad.
Yeah, there's one screen grab of this Brute that has been going around, and that's what is like really making people angry.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, who gives a it's like 1% of the game is looking at faces. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then so here's the thing. And so the video game knowers who know about video games and have smart good opinions.
They who know video games.
They who know video games. Who have smart and good opinions, and they read the think pieces, and they talk about they talk about crunch, and I have seen 2 months worth of people off and on criticizing Naughty Dog and The Last of Us for their various sins, all of which they did totally, but I just don't understand how you immediately go from The Last of Us press cycle talking about like overwork and crunch and how graphical fidelity is like scalable exactly to abuse and exploitation of workers, and then look at this Halo game and be like, doesn't look good enough. Like, it's just crazy. Like,
sorry, I wanna interrupt real quick before we get away from it. Was when I was saying the Brute's face looked terrible, they were showing an intentionally bad hologram, and then the reveal at the end was they showed you the real Brute's face up close, and it was like the best looking video game face I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of that moment. But like,
it's maybe the best looking non-human video game face I've seen.
People were mad about his shiny teeth. Like, I don't know, they're in his mouth.
Those were literally the best looking game teeth I've ever seen. Teeth are shiny. What are you, fucking dumb? What, your head's broken?
What's making it so wet?
Jesus.
So okay, but it's like people are being wrong about this in both ways at the same time, where it's like, okay, so the people want it. People look at it and go, this doesn't look good enough, and they're wrong that it doesn't look good enough. But it's not that's like the not important end. The important end is that it doesn't matter that video game console manufacturers, Nintendo and Sony and PlayStation, Nintendo less than most, but like they are going to try and sell you a video game console based on how amazing and totally crazy and insane the graphics look. And it's your job as someone who writes about games to know that is a canard. It's not important how a game looks. It is technically what you're paying for, but if you play video games as a hobby, or not as a hobby, as a job, or your hobby is to know about video games, like, you should realize that you can't just pick one game and go, this doesn't look like this is the game where we're going to talk about. This is the one big game a year that we're going to talk about that games look too good and it makes people work too hard. Like, that has to be every game. You can't just I don't know. It's just insane that in 2020
it is happening in every game. Yeah.
Right after exploitation and overwork of developers was in the news, that we're immediately going right back to, this game doesn't look good enough for me to buy this next gen console.
Yeah.
And it's like, you like video games? Do you want to play console video games? Well, buy the fucking console if you want the console. Don't buy the console if you don't want the console.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be like...
Yeah, I mean, that's where I was at. Like, I was gonna buy the console because I wanted the console. I don't.
Yeah,
really
I
care
want to
how
play
it's
this
gonna
Halo
look.
game, and I
Like,
make no bones about that. I was gonna play this Halo game, whether people were happy with it or not, or whether whether I thought it looked good or not. I play the Halo games. That's one of the things that I do.
Yeah, like, but frankly, the reason that we do that is because every time they put one out, it's good. There hasn't been a bad Halo game. That's why we keep buying them without question.
Right.
Like,
Right.
so they've earned that.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yeah. This isn't like BioWare, where I liked every game that they made for 8 years and then I didn't like every game that they made for the next 8 years. Like, I like all the Halo games, so I'm gonna buy this next one. I've been saving up money so that I can buy a launch console. So I'm admitting that I'm bought into buying a Series X, but the fact that this game could look worse than Halo 5, and I would still buy it, because you have to. These are people that.
I was gonna say, like, frankly, Halo 5 already looked so good. This one didn't need to look better.
It didn't
but
need
I'm
to look
thrilled
better.
that it does.
Yeah, it has a whole new way of it is trying to sell that it has a whole new way of playing it. And I want to play a Halo that has a whole new way of playing it. The last time they did that, it was ODST, and that's secretly one of the best ones.
I'm gonna pull up XSplit and start recording my screen, and then I'm gonna pull up a Halo 5 trailer to compare, so we can overlay like the Halo Infinite, and then I'm gonna put up Halo 5.
I didn't see it, but I think Screen Rant did a comparison. Maybe that would be a good place to go if they have a comparison made for you. So the second thing that happened is Digital Foundry. You like Digital Foundry, right?
Yeah, they do. They do a good and necessary service.
So they had a sort of fun little twist on a tweet that they made. So the text.
Wait, sorry. What was it?
Screen Rant. I just saw this headline, so I'm like, or maybe it was Game Rant, like the game Screen Rant. I don't know. These are not sites that I go to. I just happened to see this headline. That was like, people are talking about Halo 5's graphics. Let's see why. A comparison between Halo 5 and whatever. So if you can find it, great. If not, sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
I just cut out there.
Oh, okay.
I'm back. I found one from Halo 5. No.
Okay. Well, if you can't find it, then I'm sorry for leading you astray. I can't remember what I was talking about If anyone in the chat remembers what I was talking about before Kylie's noise cut out.
Don't worry, we can keep going. I'll just look for it.
Okay.
Oh, this is why people
What? Kylie?
think it looked, because they're in a place where the Halo community is in turmoil. I don't know how they felt about 4. I loved 4, which was the first Halo game that was made by not Bungie, though I think there were a lot of
Kylie?
people that, but apparently the
Kylie.
community just out. Yeah.
I can't tell if you're doing these weird pauses naturally because you're watching some video, or if your audio keeps cutting out and then speeding back up to catch up.
I think it's both.
Okay, all right. There was like a 3-second
yeah.
pause in the middle of a sentence, and it sounded possible that it was on purpose, but I can't tell if you're supposed to be talking back to me. Anyway, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me? Obviously, something is happening on Kylie's end. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Barely. I think I launched XSplit and then my connection got bad. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I'm closing XSplit.
Okay, yeah, obviously something's happening on your end, I think. Do I sound better? God damn it. Kylie? She should close. She should leave the Discord call. Hi, you should leave the Discord call and come back.
Eve?
Hi,
Hello?
yeah.
All right.
Hi, can you hear me? But she's back in and not talking. I don't know what the deal is. I did remember what I was talking about. I was talking about, if I forget again, chat, remember this. I was talking about Digital Foundry. Kylie. Hello. God damn it. See, when things go perfectly, I don't have to edit these. I can just upload them. But when something happens, I have to edit it, and it sucks. And usually it's because something happens weird on Kylie's end. Kylie. I'll leave the... Hello. She's also not responding to me in the chat, in the text box. Extremely frustrating. Anyway, how's everyone else? I guess I'll just not try and fix this because there's nothing I can do. Oh, Kylie said, just keep going on without me. We'll get back on ASAP. Well, the problem is the next thing that I had was explaining the Digital Foundry stuff to her. But I guess I just won't. And I guess yeah, Yeah, I guess I just won't. She'll have to figure it out her own, or I'll tell her after the show. Anyway, so Digital Foundry is like a video game analysis. They do like graphical analysis of video games, really in-depth look at graphics. And they put out a little twist of a tweet that was like, people are talking about how Halo's graphics are flat. What are they talking about? And maybe it wasn't meant to be read like that. Maybe just in my head that's how I read it, because I'm like, yeah, what the fuck are they talking about? And I watched the video, and I don't remember and also barely understand the graphic stuff that was being talked about, but the video took specific interest in the lighting of the game and how the lighting. I couldn't tell if what they meant was that it's like Xbox One era quality, or if just the way that the lighting works is better suited for the previous or this current gen than the upcoming gen. But they took issue with like a lot of how the lighting works, and again, I think it's almost like a disservice to the job to be like, maybe there are plenty of technical reasons and technical ways that you could look at what's being shown and be like, well, this is off and this is off and this is off.
Okay.
When in reality, like all you're doing is contributing. Hi, Kylie, I can hear you again. When in reality, all you're doing is contributing to this total farce of an argument. Like to have come out on the side of the Xbox insanoids who are being pissy about the graphics and calling them original Xbox graphics. Like, it's just such a weird call to make. Like, yeah, sure, if you can, like, you're breaking up. I can't really hear you.
Am I better?
Yep, you're better now. Now you're better.
I said I feel bad for all the people working on that game.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I heard about reminds me, I heard about the people like on the Game Freak dev team getting really discouraged by like people getting so mad about like the national Dex thing.
Yeah, totally.
That was depressing.
It's just totally depressing. There's just no reason for it.
Especially because there's so many other good reasons to dislike Game Freak's Pokemon games.
Yeah, there's some really good reasons too. But okay, so let's take. I know that we make fun of it. Let's take a page from early 2000s GameSpot.
Hell yes, dude. The hotspot's back.
The hotspot's back.
The hotspot's back.
Who's on it?
Sorry, it's not back at GameSpot, which would be not interesting. It's back at Giant Bomb, and so it's only for people that worked at GameSpot back then, and it's good.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Every episode, they pick a topic to talk about in relation to, like 2000s and late 90s video game journalism. So it's like, we're going to talk about reviews for this episode. I think it ended up being a 2-parter.
Okay, that's interesting. I should check that
Very
out.
cool. Yeah.
So let's take a different page out of early 2000s GameSpot and do a segmented review breakdown of Halo, right? So we're talking about graphics, we're talking about sound, we're talking about mechanics, we're talking about tilt.
Tilt. Hell yeah. We could even go get that PDF. I think they put it up publicly.
You're right, they did.
We could enter it into the PDF.
Well, I can't review this game, but okay.
Wait, could I before we get started, could I just offer you one little golden nugget from that podcast?
Yeah.
They were talking about reviews. They pulled up a freelance. It was basically like GameSpot's guide that they would hand out to freelance reviewers to be like, here's your style guide for writing for GameSpot. Oh no, sorry, it was for copy editors. It was their guide for, you know nothing about video games, here's how to edit video game stuff. And one of the things they said was, in general, never, this was from 2000, in general, never use any kind of metaphor when writing about video games. King shit.
That's really funny.
So this is the audience that we're talking about
Yeah.
from that era.
So okay. What on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's take the let's be as critical as we possibly can. Or let's maybe even go a step beyond that. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate those graphics.
We're being more critical than we possibly can.
Yeah, imagine someone who's less reasonable or less interested in Halo than us.
Very important question.
Yeah.
When I'm rating this, am I doing the actual scale that games are reviewed on? Am I using the 7 to 10 scale, or am I using the imaginary scale that people think exists where we use the whole scale?
We're using the whole scale. We're using the imaginary whole scale.
So I'm not reviewing this like how I would review it if I worked at GameSpot.
Right, where for certain periods of time, the idea of giving something a 5 would be, or really, it's a 1 to 2 and 7 to 10 scale. You can give something a 1 or 2.
No.
Yeah, there's a couple that got 1s and 2s.
There were like single digit numbers though. Like that was a true condemnation back then.
Yeah.
Obviously a 1 or a 2 is always a true condemnation, but
were
it
there
was literally
more
like
ones or 5s?
This will hurt your family if you purchase this.
Were there more 1s or more 4s though?
Way more 4s.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I always felt like there was more 1s than there were 4s.
Because especially on GameSpot, they used their weird mathematical spreadsheet thing. So for a game to get a 1, it would have to literally get 1s in every category.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. You could get a 2 and 1, and the weight would bring you down to a 1.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they do points, right? It would be like a 1.5 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's pretend that we're using the whole number scale 1 through 10. Let's pretend that that's real.
I don't like that one. That's my less favorite one.
Okay, but we want to leave open the possibility that this can get a low score.
Okay.
Just take your actual worst case scenario opinion and maybe subtract 1 from it.
Well, I don't think we can say worst case scenario because we know the worst case scenario. It's the people that say it looks like an original Xbox game.
Yeah, well, those people would give this a 1, and they're not who we're talking about. Right. I mean, unless that's what you think.
So you want me to imagine what I think of as a random, reasonable gamer.
A random, reasonable, maybe slightly
basically just
gamer.
Like you want me to just say what would I think if I was me, but I hadn't played Halo.
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
And you were worried about the prospect of spending $400, $500 on a new console.
Okay. I feel like the only reason I'm so okay with buying the system is because I love Halo so much.
Right. And but just graphics. Look at these graphics.
All right.
And go, scale 1 to 10, just the graphics.
Half points?
Sure.
9.5.
9.5? Okay.
Yeah.
That's really high.
It is, yeah. What?
It's really high, yeah.
Yes, it is very high.
Yeah. Well, because it looks good.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do this exercise. But let's imagine.
Wait, what were you looking for from me? I thought that's what you were expecting. What else would I say? It looks incredible.
Let's imagine. I honestly wasn't expecting a number from you. I mean, I was expecting you to give a number, but I wasn't trying to force you to say 5 or something.
Oh, no, I'm good at this. I have answers. You want numbers, I got answers.
But let's just say it's a 7.
Why? What? What is the I don't
Because we're looking at this and we're mad. We're looking at this and we're mad.
Oh, okay.
Let's just say it's a 7.
I didn't understand you wanted me to pretend to be mad. I thought you wanted my genuine thoughts.
No. Well, I did say pretend to be someone else.
Okay.
And what I meant by that was pretended to be one of the people who's mad about this. The reason I didn't need to expect something from you is because if you said a number I didn't want, I could just give that number. But let's just say it's that. Let's just say, like, we saw the Digital Foundry thing talking about how the lighting looked like it was from last gen.
Is that what they said?
Yeah. We saw the Digital Foundry video was weird.
Did anyone tell them that games from last gen had good lighting?
No. Yeah, apparently not. I honestly don't know what they were thinking. You were gone when I was talking about this. I don't know what they were thinking hopping into this debate and being like, well, technically, if you nitpick it, all of these insanoids are right. Like, I have no idea what they were thinking. Anyway, if you let's just say it's a 7. We saw Digital Foundry's thing about the lighting. We heard Patrick Klepek on the Waypoint podcast say that it that there was a bad screenshot going around, but that it looked okay, but it didn't look amazing. Sure. Let's say we saw a few people online get retweeted who said that the game looked like shit.
Okay,
and so
I think
we
I
see
have
this.
Okay, I'm ready to give my honest reaction of what if I was me, but I didn't care about Halo.
Okay.
So exhausted by this already.
Okay.
Who cares?
Right.
Big who cares? The biggest who cares?
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
Just like getting upset about like did or did not this Halo look good or okay?
Let's say that number is a 7. Okay. Right? Let's just say that after all that, you see the thing and you're like, well, I guess it looks okay. 7 out of 10.
Looks a little last gen-y.
I guess they're right. The lighting does look last gen. The way that the light cascades over the peaks, I can tell that looks like Xbox One gen tech.
Yeah, that's definitely
fucking Digital Foundry motherfuckers.
That's definitely last gen mountain peak lighting.
And so then if you had been someone who went to GameSpot in the early 2000s, you would know there's a lot of other parts of a game, and one of the categories is called mechanics, which means, is it fun? Is this fun? What does it mean if a game gets a theoretical game, the graphics get 1, but the gameplay gets 10? What does that mean? Does that mean that it's a 5? Or does that mean that it's a 10? like graphics, the way that a game looks is and has always been icing on a cake of how fun is it to play a game. and now we also know that icing is paid for in human blood and sweat.
True. Yeah.
And I thought that we had decided as a video game knowing community, we'll just have it without the icing then. I will take less icing, please. Save your blood and sweat.
So you're right. Would I offer though that I believe that if that person were on this Discord call to respond to your words, I think they would say, but when I'm buying a new console, I'm buying it for the graphics, so that's why I'm judging this game on its graphics.
Sure. Well, and we're talking about the video game knower right now. Obviously, we're not talking about the insanoids, a word that I made up while you were gone and that I decided I loved.
Might be a little ableist, but
sure. Okay. But sorry. We have a video game knower who's worried about the money of a console and says, why would I buy a new console why would I buy a new console if the thing I'm buying is a more powerful console?
Right.
It's because the video game industry is bad. You don't have to buy the new console if you don't want to. I guess is what I
wait. Yeah. Yeah. That's their whole thing. This game's on Xbox One.
Right.
You don't have to buy the new console.
Wait, is this going to be on Xbox One too? Is it on both?
Yeah. That's their thing. Their thing is none of our games are going to be exclusive to the Xbox Series X.
Wait, no, it's going to be because it's going to be on PC.
What do you mean?
It's going to be on PC. That's the way that it's not exclusive to Xbox Series X.
I thought they've said all their Series X games were going to be back. We're going to be forwards compatible on the Xbox One.
I don't know that that's true because it
I mean,
seems insane that in 7 years they're going to be making games for the Xbox One still.
Well, I don't think they've said that. I think they've said for now.
Okay.
But because I think that's their whole thing is like Xbox the platform. I mean, now that you're giving me, now that you're pausing so much, now I'm questioning it. But I mean, that was I thought what they said.
I haven't heard them say that. I definitely have heard them saying that Xbox first party games are going to be on PC and on Game Pass.
Okay.
So Ampersand says, honestly, so confused on what is coming out on which Microsoft platform. It's all coming out on Xbox Series X, and all of the first party stuff is also coming out on PC. So those are definites. All of the first party stuff will be.
No, check this out.
Okay.
Halo Infinite, Xbox One X Enhanced, compatible with Xbox One X, Xbox One S. Yeah, it says 4K Ultra HD on Xbox One X and Xbox Series X only. That is to say, there's a way to play Halo Infinite without 4K Ultra HD on a Xbox that's not a One X or a Series X.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what Microsoft's trying to do. They say I'm so confused about what platform it's coming out on. Microsoft's trying to say it's coming out on everything. They're trying to eliminate the confusion. I think they're causing more.
Yeah, I think they've been doing a better job of communicating what's going on in the last year or two than they were the 5 or 6 years before that. But yeah,
you know what?
Right.
I think what's happening is when we were further away from the launch of this console, they were really clear about like, oh, our games are coming out on everything. Don't even worry about it. And like to the point where it was like almost hard to believe. Now that we're getting close to the release of the Series X, they're being slightly quieter about that part because they would prefer that you think that you have to get the Series X to play Halo Infinite. Like they want you to be able to play it on your Xbox One, but they don't want to stop you from buying a Series X if you're gonna.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, and the other thing about it though too is that, you know, all of these games are going to be on Game Pass. Literally everything that they showed at this hour-long event is going to be a Game Pass game. And so it's like you buy your $500 or whatever, $400 or whatever, they won't say, Xbox Series X, and then it's like, okay, and now I have $500 or $600 worth of games to play over the next couple months.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and just to be clear, I did find the part on the Halo Infinite page that did definitively say platforms: Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Windows 10 PCs.
Oh, and that's another thing, by the way, to say to the video game knower who says, well, if this game isn't compelling, why would I buy an Xbox Xbox Series X to go,
you don't have to
go buy it? Well, even if you still want the console, you don't have to pay for the game. Just get Game Pass. It's on Game Pass. It's almost free.
Yeah, I mean, you literally don't have to buy the console.
Right. I mean, that's
play the game.
That is but you also don't have to buy the game. That's what I'm saying. Like, all you have to do is have a PC right now and a Game Pass subscription.
Yeah, or an Xbox.
Or an Xbox. Or Xbox One. But like, even if you did drop the $450 or whatever on the console, you then don't have to spend $60 on the game. It's already in there. It's built in there. I bet your ass there'll be a fucking free month of Game Pass in that box.
Did you know that they eliminated the $60 a year for Xbox Live Gold service plan?
So it's more money because you can't buy in bulk?
Yeah. Basically, they want you to buy Game Pass Ultimate, which they did. Congratulations, Microsoft.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
You did it. But I mean, it's like fucking incredible value.
It's a totally bananas value. Yeah.
Yeah. I was interested. When I signed up for Ultimate, I was like, oh, well, I know I'm just going to want this. So like, yeah, give me best value. How much time can I buy at once? But the answer is they actually don't offer a discount based on bulk for Game Pass Ultimate. Like you can pay it yearly, but it's just 15 times 12.
Yeah. And I have one last point about the Halo controversy.
Mm-hmm.
We, you more than me, but we play older games sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll play games old as shit.
I just was playing a Genesis game last night. Keith, I
How are
just
the
bought
graphics on that?
They bad.
Bad, right? Was it fun though?
Let me remember what game I was playing.
Wow,
I don't
this
remember.
is taking a while.
Wow.
Let's
I
pretend
played
that it
Michael
was
Jackson's Moonwalker, so no, not really.
Let's pretend that what you were playing was Sonic 2.
Oh.
How's that?
Well, in the words of my daughter who was only born 5 years ago, who wasn't alive when the game was made,
By a lot. By a lot.
by a lot. In her words, I love Sega. I like Sonic 2 because it has the spin dash.
So it sounds fun. And it sounds
fun. Yeah.
fun in ways that move beyond nostalgia.
Yeah.
And so the graphics have occasionally changed the ways that we've been able to play games.
It is
There
true.
are periods of video gaming where Ocarina of Time couldn't have existed.
It's true.
And because of leaps in graphical fidelity, it could now. The power of the N64. The power of the
64 Ultra Bits.
All 64 Ultra Bits went into making Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time a very cool game and a part of a generation of games that were able to change the way it was able to change the way people are playing games, change the way that games are played. Sometimes graphics can do that. We're not there right now. The border issues on is this game literally perfect or not isn't changing the way that we're playing games. And so I guess I'm just like, games have always looked worse than they have right now. And they've also been really good still. Some of my favorite games don't look even close to as good as Halo Infinite does because they were made in the mid-2000s. What are we talking about? What is this? It's like
I've got deja vu.
It's like a new game comes out and like people fucking go stupid in their brains and they forget how to they forget all the things that they just learned. Who are these goldfish talking about video games? I don't understand it. Oh my god.
I don't know, man.
I try my best to be consistent. I've learned a lot over the last 10 years that we've been doing podcasts, Kylie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think about games in the same way that I did back then. And I try I try my best to be, when I learn something that's useful, to carry it with me and to not just discard it when I have to decide if a trailer looked good enough to be mad or not. Wait, sorry. Looked bad enough to be mad or not. Anyway, so that's the Halo 5 thing. There's some other games that are coming out that look good. I don't remember the names of. There's a rare game that looks really good.
Ooh,
I'm very
the
excited.
Forest one?
Yes, the forest one where you have big animal friends who help you gather lumber.
Oh, wait. I'm concerned because when I saw it, I thought it just looked like Sea of Thieves in a forest, so I bet you'll love it, and I'll be like, this is just Sea of Thieves in a forest.
I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being Sea of Thieves in a forest, but I don't think it looked anything like Sea of Thieves. It had a totally different vibe.
I didn't see the new trailer, so.
Okay. Well, give the new trailer a shot. It looks incredibly good. I don't know that there's a game there. I hope that there is. I hope that they looked at what some people were saying about Sea of Thieves, and about how, wow, I really want to spend time here, but there's no time to spend here.
You're right.
There's nothing to do here. I really want there to be something to do here, but there isn't. I hope that they've heard that criticism and they have filled this very, very good looking space with things to do. I don't know. There was a couple Oblivion games. Whatever. The last Oblivion game sucked. So, Yeah, there's new big Outer Worlds DLC, whatever, fuck Outer Worlds. There's
Yeah,
that game. Oh, there's the survival game where you play little children you play Honey I Shrunk the Kids and have to defend
Backyard.
backyard.
Wait, Grounded.
Honey I Shrunk the
Grounded.
Kids and they have to defend themselves against the bugs is the name
Grounded.
of the
Yeah.
game.
No, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was all about being friends with the bugs. I reject this.
Honey I Shrunk the Kids and the bugs are mad this time.
Well, actually, there was. I guess there was just that one ant was nice, and the rest of them were.
Yeah.
Yo, okay, wait. Could I quote my daughter again, real quick? Watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, as I remember in real time as we're watching it, how the ant exits that movie. Do you remember?
No.
They leave. And then they get attacked by a scorpion, and the ant comes back to save them, and the ant kills the scorpion kills the ant, and my daughter just goes, "He can't die." I go, "Oh no, what have I done?"
Real quick,
sad part.
Kai said, I tried Game Pass for PC. It was pretty terrible. All the games have to be downloaded from the Microsoft Store app on Windows 10, and it's crazy buggy and isn't even something you can search on your computer, so you have to launch the games from the Microsoft Store every time by searching for it in the search bar.
What?
So you're half right and half wrong.
That's crazy.
Well, that's because it's wrong. That's why it sounds crazy, because it's not true. Sorry, but you did it wrong. It's not your fault. It is pretty buggy and it is insanely confusing. There's another app called Xbox. There's two apps: the Microsoft, the Xbox Store app, and the Xbox app. The Xbox app will do most of the stuff that the Store app does anyway. But you do need them both, I'm pretty sure. So not only can you launch the games from the Xbox app, you can also just search for them. Like I search when I've been playing Master Chief Collection on Game Pass for PC a lot. I can just open up my search bar and search for, Master Chief Collection, and it pops up, and I can just play it from there. It is buggy and confusing, but it is not as bad as that. And it is their fault that you thought it was that bad. I'm not blaming you.
Yeah.
It is kind of a buggy mess. But you can you can use the Xbox app to much more conveniently access those games and their relevant information. So there's also a third app called the Xbox Console Companion.
Oh my god, that's
it's a different
one?
app. Yeah. There's the
Jesus.
Xbox on Windows, and then there's the Xbox Console app for Windows. And don't get that one. That's a canard. It's not a canard. It's useful. It's useful if what you want to do is search your friends list or send a message.
No, it's useful if what you want to do is stream your Xbox One to your PC.
Is that what that does?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then that also.
And I think it also lets you use your PC to type on your Xbox One. Possibly.
Kai said that they tried searching through Cortana and Windows 10 and that didn't work. It's a known issue. I didn't know about the Xbox app though. Yeah, as far as I know, it's the Xbox app that is allowing it to be searchable for me. So having the Xbox app is important. If you try Game Pass again, I think that you said later on that you canceled it. I mean, if it ends up that you want to play Gears of War again for $5, tried the Xbox app, because I'm pretty sure
everyone's catching up on Halo and the Master Chief Collection right now.
Yeah. Oh, those games also all look worse than Halo Infinite, and they slap. Those games are good as hell.
Everyone's catching up on Halo with Master Chief Collection and Game Pass, and guess what? They're all saying it's really good.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's good. I'm hearing stories about people telling stories about, when they first played Halo, or talking about like being really excited for Halo 2 and playing Halo 2, and there's all I was thinking was, that looked worse than Halo Infinite, right? I get that time moves forward. But don't be Andy Short, please. Don't be Andy Short.
Oh man.
Don't love a game in 2009 and then never play it again because it looks like shit when you're in 2020.
God. Man.
He says games are too old that came out the same year as his favorite games.
Yeah. I bought a second Genesis Mini because my daughter liked the first one so much that that one's just hers now.
Okay. Well, that's good. Good for her. And
Yeah.
now you can start your own save files on all those, on the new one.
Mm-hmm. They did have multiple save state slots for all of them. So,
Um, I hope
but
Halo.
what's
I want to end the Halo talk because we should play our game.
yeah, it's insane that we haven't played a game yet.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a lot to say about the Halo thing, and I do want to close it out by saying this. I hope the game is fun because the trailer hasn't shown us that yet. It might be really bad. I hope it's
Right.
not. I don't think that it will be.
Well, I mean, I think we've seen some moment-to-moment gameplay. We know it's not like it
Yeah.
doesn't look like it's like a broken game from
You
what
didn't-
we've seen.
You didn't
But
comment
it
on the grappling hook.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice it until you said that, but now I'm like, oh yeah, right, the grappling hook.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I didn't notice it till just now.
I saw, not to pick on Patrick Klepek, but when they were talking about it on the Waypoint podcast, which is the only podcast that I've heard a lot of talking about this game, they or Patrick was like, he seemed like eye rolly about the grappling hook, and it's like, I don't
Okay.
understand why you care so much. Why are you so annoyed that there's a grappling hook? I think the point was made that there might be other traversal things, and that would be cool. Maybe 343 has finally listened to people who
Right.
are mad that the jetpack disappeared after Reach because everyone loved the jetpack. Was there a jetpack in 4? No, right?
I believe there was.
Oh, okay. Well, they got rid of it
Yeah.
for 5.
Right.
And I think people want a jetpack back. Maybe that's a thing that we could look forward to.
I will say, I think a grappling hook will be a fun addition to Halo. But if you're saying why would someone eye roll at a grappling hook, I would maybe say because it feels like every game is adding grappling hooks now, and it's kind of been done.
Oh, I haven't played a lot of games recently that have a grappling hook.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of the last thing that I played with a grappling hook. I love grappling hooks. I don't know.
It's hard
fun.
to argue with. Grappling hooks are great if you're going to add something
Yeah.
to a game. Grappling hook's not a bad
Especially
thing
if
to
you're
add.
going to make a Halo game where the new thing is that you can go everywhere in it.
Right, exactly. It's going to be a traversal item.
Right. I don't know. Like, yeah, if you gave me a super big jump, right? Like, that would be sick too. Give me a big jump.
Yeah.
Like, maybe don't give me a
I
jetpack,
hope there's
but
all
give me a
kinds of
30-foot jump.
I mean, traversal has always been one of the most fun parts of Halo, so I hope there's just even more fun ways to do that.
More fun and also still underexplored.
My guy, what if there was a fucking, like, probably not multiplayer, but what if just in campaign, what if there was a wingsuit?
What if there was a wingsuit?
What
It
if
doesn't
Master
feel like
Chief-
you know what? Master
Well, it
Chief
doesn't
doesn't
feel
spread
like-
his arms.
It does.
He's not the kind of guy that spreads his arms.
Yes, he is.
Nah.
I'll, what?
He's just not.
What do you mean? What is he? Well, what?
I just don't think Master Chief's the kind of guy that spreads his arms like that.
Okay, well, I think Master Chief will maybe get some arm flaps and leg flaps to attach to his suit. And then he'll be able to glide and be a fucking angel of death upon these Covenant remnant separatists. Whatever.
There's no windowed mode, and it looks like I can't display capture or share my screen with you so that you can get the audio.
If they wanted to impress people, well, they painted themselves into a corner because they left a pretty big cliffhanger kind of thing at the end of Halo 5. But if they wanted to be real big brains, they should reboot Halo, but give it good politics. All the girls will be screaming. I don't know how you do that. They should try. It's probably impossible, but no one liked Halo 4. That was great.
No,
I see you out there. I know people who don't like Halo 4. You know who you are. And I see you. You should be ashamed. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
How do you dare?
Listen, you have a right to be mad at 343, but only for Halo 5.
Why? What are you talking about? Halo 5 ruled. Halo 5 is the best multiplayer shooter in that decade.
Only for Halo 5's campaign.
All right, I'm going to try one more thing to get this to launch in windowed mode. Windowed
Oh,
mode.
is the game not working?
It's launching. Well, here's the thing.
I guess this is my last chance to make a guess at what game this is. And I'm gonna guess that it's Binary Domain.
It's not Binary Domain.
Am I getting close?
No.
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 Is it a game that we... So, okay, sorry. Keith gave me the hint that this game was the first game... Oh, wait.
I didn't give you any hint.
Yes, you did.
No.
The first game on the Run Button account?
No. Oh, no, you said that wasn't about that. It was about the tweet.
Oh.
You were like, I couldn't find the tweet. And I was like, it's the last thing that the Run Button account tweeted. And it was also the last thing on my personal timeline because I also retweeted it. That was the thing that was first, not the game.
Okay, for some reason I interpreted that. I thought you meant the game we were going to play was somehow the game that was the first thing Run Button tweeted about and the most recent thing you tweeted about. And I was like, well, I don't know what either of those were.
No. That was always about the tweet that you claimed to not be able to find.
No, I mean, I didn't actually look for it.
Yeah, so this game, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to display capture it, so I just did, or game capture it, so I did display capture for it instead. But now it won't even let me stream it to you because when it's not in full screen mode, or when it's minimized, it won't let me capture the window.
I don't even know if my bandwidth will handle me watching a stream. But
and now, since I've been trying to
Twitch,
since I've been trying to play it, Steam is now like flashing in a really weird way. Like the overlay where the UI skin that makes it look like Steam and not like Chrome is like flashing. It's really strange.
So are we going to be able to stream this game?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to try one more time.
Can we see what's going on your desktop?
Fuck. I thought if I was fast enough, I might be able to do it. Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it for you.
Show the stream. Oh, on Discord? Discord.
More like. Okay, so you can see that?
Stream paused. Keith Lies has minimized the application. Oh no.
Can you see that?
Yes. No, what is this gonna be?
Are you still not sure?
Is this fucking Stranger's Wrath?
No.
Thief?
No.
Is Morrowind?
No.
What game is this?
Well, it was a second.
Fable. Oh, it's Fable.
It's Fable. Fable 1. Because Fable 2's not on PC, unfortunately.
It's on Xbox One.
It is, but then I couldn't have gotten you the volume. So, here's the twist. Kylie famously hates Fable 2.
Well, I famously enjoyed it enough to play through the whole thing, but hated it in retrospect.
You one time on an episode of Complex Rockets went on a just totally unhinged Fable 2 rant.
I think this rant might have grown in our memories.
Maybe.
I cannot co-sign the word unhinged, but I definitely got mad.
You got mad enough where my response to it was my favorite quote from Yu Yu Hakusho: "Feed all you want, my precious hate fish."
Yeah, see, I feel like our memory of what I said is colored by the fact that it ended with you saying, "Feed all you want, my precious hate fish."
Yeah. Okay, let's move past the.
Yeah, so I thought Fable was a rather Fable 2 rather was a rather sort of thin and vapid game that kind of only gestured at great ideas and kind of had none. And I likened it to a can of Chef Boyardee because the game was just like so incredibly brain dead easy that it was like it's like a can of spaghetti you could slop down before you even realized that you didn't like how it tasted.
And it famously lofty.
Deep in the forest of Albion.
Yeah, and
Promise.
like and this was when they were like, this is gonna change the way you
and
experience stories.
untouched
Yeah.
by the sword.
Peter Molyneux's a big promiser.
Here lived a boy and his family. A boy dreaming of greatness, of one day being a hero.
I mean, like, yeah,
Um,
Peter Molyneux
Sometimes
kind
he
of
imagined himself as a noble knight or a powerful
kind of famously exited the public eye, sort of like
At
getting
other
really
times,
mad
he
at.
dreamt he'd be an evil warrior.
what?
But in all his dreams of greatness, he could
Even
not
like-
possibly imagine the power.
I
of
feel
destiny
bad
lay
that
before him.
he he overpromises on everything he's ever done, but like at a certain point, you gotta learn a lesson, my guy.
Yeah, yeah. So this is funny. It kind of shows the.
Daydreaming again, were you? Just like your mother. Mind always wandering. Well,
Like,
let it wander off to find
I don't know if
sister.
you heard that opening thing, and it was like this guy always
She's
wanted to
out
be
playing by the Barrowfields gate.
like a heroic knight or a powerful wizard or sometimes even an evil
Don't tell me
warrior.
you've got to get
Ugh.
away.
And it's like,
Cool.
it's like, yeah, here we go. We get to decide whether we're good or bad.
Yeah, kids
Sometimes
like to
you
be all
just want to
kinds
be
of shit.
evil.
Yeah, don't you just sometimes want to be the worst person?
Now,
Um.
and stay out of trouble.
So this is a game that I always wanted to play. Actually, I never did. I just really liked the cover art when I was a kid with an original Xbox, and I just, it was a sort of
Great cover art.
great cover art, and I was a kid, and so I would have to convince my mom to let me get an M-rated game, and that was almost always a no-go. Press tab to talk to people or interact with objects. People with interesting things to say are highlighted in green when you approach them. Boy, wish that were true. And appears a green dot on your map.
By the way, all the worst people in our world right now are the people who grew up playing all these games that were like, yeah, go be an evil psychopath if you want to, and don't you
Yeah.
want to, and like no idea how things turned out like this.
I've lost Rosie.
Wow. What is that demon? Are you gonna kill that?
Well, I think I maybe want to be evil. I either want to be
Yeah, I think you want to be
extremely
evil.
good or extremely bad, and I can't
Well,
decide.
Well, Keith, I can obviously decide for you. I know you.
And I can't
You're a goody
find
two-shoes
her.
in these.
Please help. She's a lovely little furry bear with a blue patch
Game
on
you can
her
possibly
back.
be on the stream. Did you
You-
get any of that, or did I?
You cut out. I got game that could possibly be on this stream.
Oh, okay. I was. Oh,
Come here, my little pumpkin.
What is
I'm
purple
back,
mean?
maybe. I said I know that you're always a goody two-shoes in these games, and you're like pathologically incapable of.
What?
I
was just,
Okay,
I've
it
never
cut out
even met this
again.
woman. Who is she?
Oh no, I can hear you. Hello?
Look, Sonny, keep your mouth shut about this, right? My wife's at home with our little ones. And
Oh,
I'm supposed to be
no, I said that
working.
like a minute ago.
Oh, jeez.
Um.
I said it like
Back,
20 seconds
maybe?
ago. So
Oh, wow.
But a man should be
Uh,
entitled to do what he likes, don't you think?
It's funny.
Tell you what, if you keep
Hello.
this a secret,
hi, can you hear me?
I'll give you a
Yeah, I don't think my
piece.
bandwidth could handle the stream, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I was gonna say. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, I did say. Sorry, I did say. I know that you're always a goody two shoes in these games, and you find it incredibly hard to ever be evil, which is why, of course, you must be as evil as you possibly can on the stream right now.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about these games. As I have gotten older, and my sense of what is right and wrong has matured. These games, I find, even modern ones. Can you hear me?
Say,
Oh my god.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
yeah.
All right. Can we just not do this?
Yeah, I think we just can't do this.
Okay. Well, we can have this conversation at least after I
I
close
did
the
really
game.
want to add. I did want to say real quick that Fable 2 is actually the first like morality system game where I was able to be evil on my first playthrough because I was just so invested so little in its world and its characters that I didn't care about being mean for the first time ever.
Well, good news. I don't think that we were even successfully sharing the game anyway. So
Oh no, I was watching, but I had to cancel it at the end because we just weren't able to speak.
No,
to each
I mean
other.
sharing it with the stream, not with you.
Oh.
So
Bummer.
I don't know if you had the stream open or not. I don't think the game
Oh.
ever got to them.
Okay, all right.
Thanks for the 34
did-
people that never said anything. Oh no, someone did say no Fable video on stream. Anyway, I had most of the chat was cut off because when an older game that's full screen pushes everything on your second monitor to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did that, so I couldn't really see.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can have this.
I'm cutting out too bad to even keep talking, so I'm just gonna say bye.
Bye. Oh, we're going. We're done.
You can you can finish without me. Like you can do a
I can
whole
do-
outro.
Okay,
But I just
all
gotta
right.
I just gotta go. Bye everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
So the thing that the last point that I was going to tell Kylie was that it's true that I've never been able to play an evil character in these games because it makes me feel too guilty. Although I do take the occasional evil prompt if something, if I'm curious about how something will turn out. Usually I'll try to save scum those, but a game like KOTOR that I've played a billion times, like I've seen most of the evil shit you can do in that game, just by one by one doing them every playthrough. I'll pick a new thing to see how that goes. But the interesting thing is that as I have gotten older and my ability to know right from wrong has matured, but these games, even the modern ones, have not. Obviously, the older ones haven't changed, but the modern ones are still pretty facile. I find that a lot of things that I think are unequivocally good turn out being the evil choice in these games. Not all the time, but every once in a while, there's punishing someone who has done something. I'm trying to think of a specific example, yeah, it's hard to think of a specific. There's a bunch from the KOTOR games, but I can't think of one. Like that one that we just saw in Fable, or that I saw and that you heard in Fable. This guy was trying to bribe me to not gossip about his affair, and it's I don't know you, man. I wasn't gonna say shit anyway, but taking the bribe was called a bad deed in the text. Will you take the bribe and commit a bad deed? And it's I wasn't gonna tell anybody. I don't know you. I have literally no reason to start trouble here. I don't know this guy's life. Telling everyone that this guy's having an affair, I think would be the bad thing, even though that guy was obviously scummy. Anyway, that's all that I had to say. I wish that Fable would have worked because I spent $10 on it. Maybe they'll give me a refund, but it was only $10. Speaking of it being only $10, maybe if I can figure out a way to get this windowed, we'll play it again. Otherwise, I'll try and see if I can get it refunded because I don't care about actually playing Fable. It ran like shit anyway. But if you have some extra money lying around and you want to support the show and you haven't been to contentburger.biz, that's where our Patreon is. Patreon.com/runbutton or contentburger.biz will bring you there. We have a bunch of different rewards for different tier levels, including our $9 level, which gets you all of our exclusive content, past and present, including our ongoing Let's Play of Shenmue 2, which we are about to get back to in full force. I know that we've been slacking on it the last 6 months, but we're definitely aiming to finish it this summer. That's my goal anyway. I really wanted to finish it in a month, 8 months ago. But you know, it's a long game, and Kylie lives kind of far away. And then just like we had so much stuff recorded, but we weren't recording anything new, that I just sort of slowly dripped out the content, and then the pandemic stuff happened. Anyway, regardless, I just put out an hour-long episode. There's another episode coming out either today or tomorrow of Shenmue, and we're going to get back to recording it probably next week, hopefully finish by the end of August. Yeah, you also get videos early, stuff like that, and it just, you know, it is the way that you keep Kylie and I able to keep producing videos instead of trying to find dumb work to do at a day job that takes up all of our time and energy. Listen to Friends at the Table. If you don't listen to Friends at the Table, that's the actual play podcast that I do. We started a brand new season brand new story this last season. So it's a good time to hop on to season 6, Partisan. You can also support that show at friendsathetable.cash, but support Run Button first. If you're here, that's the one that gives me more money for your dollar. I think that's it. I hope like we all hope that the next Halo game will be good. Don't get. I have a new profile picture on Twitter that I think can help us through deciding if a game deserves us to lose our minds over its graphical quality. It's from the top of a guitar pedal that I really like. Kindly remember, the ridiculous hype that offends so many is not of my making. Have a good day.